Good morning, traders. Welcome to the Dosh Trader Morning Call video for Monday, December 14th. Crazy day on Friday, actually. We did get a big move lower. That was pretty much most of the losses that occurred right on the opening. And then we kind of chopped around a little bit for 5 minutes and sold off a little further right around 3:30. And then we kind of pushed up. The interesting thing is on Sunday when the futures opened, we opened down a little bit and rallied about 9 or 10 handles till about 12:14 in the ES on the Globex session. This was during the European session, actually, and now we've sold back off again, and we're just positive up about 4 handles. So not a real good sign that the markets can sustain itself. However, I want to show you the McClellan oscillator here, and this is a very interesting chart. It is definitely a very reliable indicator of oversold state in the marketplace, and this is reading -80, which is extremely oversold. Now, can we get down below -100? Absolutely, but now is when you got to start watching the markets for some sort of retracement rally. Do I think we go to new highs? I mean, it's anybody's guess, but I don't think so at this time. Couple of things that I want to point out here. We are coming into the end of tax selling, the majority part of it anyway, the big part of it, where the bigger funds they sell stocks that are out of favor, and that's something that you as a trader might want to watch, because a lot of the beaten down names, individual stocks and or ETFs, you might want to take a look at the energy sector, obviously materials. They're the ones that usually start to get a lift up and rally after the tax selling subsides. So that's something I'm going to be watching in the next couple of weeks. We are going to come into, obviously, the Christmas holiday here in the States. So that's something that we're going to need to realize about this Santa Claus rally. Are we going to get one or not? Well, crude oil was actually at 34.53 this morning on the electronic session, now rallying a little bit. I do like crude oil around the 32, 33-ish, even 34. If we could get down to 34 with a real hard push lower, I would be looking to buy crude oil and some of the stock-related names, which we'll point out later on. But here we got to pay attention to some sort of a bounce here, guys, okay? I'd love to see this market sell off on the opening and then rally going into, later on in the morning. All right, let's look at the indexes. GLD, I have the GLD gold tracking ETF. I like to see it breach 1,000 in the GC contract, the future contract, maybe into the 980, 990, and I'd look to pick it up. I think that would be an interim low for quite some time in gold, but something to keep an eye on. Remember, the Fed meets today and concludes tomorrow with a rate decision. Pretty much, I would imagine that the rate decision is factored in, but anything could happen. Remember, the Fed, they were supposed to raise many times and they did not. The bonds are absolutely saying that it's not, that they're not rallying, along with the banks and financials. They're not rallying as well, which is also not a good sign for the bulls. But let's take a look at the rest of the markets. Okay, what do I have here? Well, I pointed out an M top formation, lower high from the previous high here. That's the M top. Now, I want to just point out this thing. This could be acting sort of a bull flag, right? I mean, it can. If you just kind of see here, and then here's the flagpole. I mean, it is and does look like it, but it hasn't triggered yet. We have to break out of the upper end of the range here. So we have two conflicting patterns here. We have a bullish pattern and we have a bearish pattern. And here's the neckline. Which one is going to work out, we do not know. But as traders, we need to be aware that we do have conflicting patterns on the daily chart here, okay? M top formation and, of course, the bull flag formation here. So just keep that in mind, guys. Now let's see if we start to rally off this area, okay? Then we could be running into a bull flag pattern and we look for the breakout. When that does happen, then we'll challenge these highs back up in here again, okay? So it's anybody's guess, and I think what's going to happen is I think the Fed it's going to be the Fed. It's going to be all about the Fed. Here is the IWM. I'm sorry, right about here. Here's the IWM. Same thing, just at the higher pattern here. You could say double top and then fail, but you could clearly see this M formation. And this did trigger. You could see this here. This did trigger right up in this area here. That's the neckline. So watch this. Russell looking really, really weak here, even worse than what it was before. Breaking down hard. If that happens and we continue to sell off, we will be testing this lows here, pretty much solidified. Here's that M-top formation. Here's a weekly chart of the IYT, just showing you that we did break down off of this symmetrical triangle. Here's the daily chart. Again, guys, this is going to be your target right here. your target's going to be this low right here. More than likely, that's where it's going to end up. Now, we could backtest and bear flag into the lower formation of this pattern, okay, this lower trend line here, and then fail again. That's the ideal area where you want to get short. But unfortunately, you can see how weak this is. This is not a good sign for the economy because, as you know, the transportation sector ships all of our goods throughout the country. And if we're not shipping goods, that means that companies aren't really producing. That's not a good sign here, okay? So just keep that in mind, guys, all right? Going into tomorrow, keep a light book. I'd like to see what happens. Let the market tell us what direction we want to go at, okay? Just keep that in mind. Hope it helps. Use your stops, guys. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Take care.